South Africa has become the latest country to suspend the use of the Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine. It made the decision after US authorities reported cases of rare but potentially deadly blood clots that could be linked to the injection. It's the second vaccine to come under a cloud after countries halted the use of the AstraZeneca inoculation over similar concerns. These suspensions have dealt a blow to vaccine rollouts and attempts to reopen economies across the globe. Paolo Montecillo reports.
For Americans lining up to get coronavirus vaccines, the Johnson & Johnson jab has been the drug of choice. It's the only one so far to offer wide-ranging protection after just one shot. So many were disappointed when it was taken off the menu this week.
I was going to go with that J&J just because, it's just one shot and get it done. I just wanted to get it done and, just get over with.
I would actually offer my 16-year-old the Johnson & Johnson as well. I understand the blood clot issue, but it's better to be vaccinated in this area and to move on with our lives and be safe.
Almost 7 million Americans have received the J&J vaccine, but its use has been suspended. That's after 6 women between the ages of 18 and 48 reported dangerous blood clots after getting their doses. As the government re-examines the drug to make sure it's safe, the White House says there's no risk of a shortage, even without the American company's shots.
So there's enough vaccine that is basically 100% unquestionable for every single solitary American.
It's a different story in the European Union, where Johnson & Johnson has delayed distribution. EU countries were hoping the shot would help fix supply issues that have hobbled their immunization drives. The bloc has limited the use of a vaccine by AstraZeneca after regulators also linked it with blood clots. But it will be getting an extra 50 million doses of the Pfizer vaccine in the second quarter.
Okay, I felt it.
South Africa's rollout is also at risk of being derailed. After snubbing the AstraZeneca vaccine because it wasn't effective against the country's new variant, it was the first nation to approve the use of J&J's one-shot drug. And even though it has not reported any blood clots, it too is taking a step back.
We have determined to voluntarily suspend our rollouts until the causal relationship between the development of clots and the Johnson & Johnson vaccine is sufficiently interrogated.
Meanwhile, British scientists are expanding a study to see if different shots can be mixed safely. The ability to do so would speed up immunizations by providing governments the flexibility to give the public whatever's available. It would also boost people's confidence in vaccines, whatever kind they choose. Paolo Montecillo, TRT World.
Well, let's get more on this now from Doctor Eric Feigl Ding in Washington. He's an epidemiologist and a senior fellow at the Federation of American Scientists. Welcome back to the program, Doctor. Now, these two vaccines that could be linked to rare blood clots, AstraZeneca and Johnson & Johnson, both use what's known as viral vector technology. Can you explain to us what that is exactly and why could they be causing blood clots?
Yeah, so both the Johnson & Johnson and AstraZeneca are from the same class, shall we say. They have an adenovirus, different adenovirus as a vector. And an adenovirus brings a DNA that inserts into the cell, and then the DNA makes RNA, and the RNA makes the spike protein. So it's similar to the direct mRNA vaccines, but it just skips a step. But here instead they have the DNA first, and the Sputnik vaccine is also an adenovirus vaccine. So some people are speculating, unsure yet, that maybe it's a class effect. The FDA does not want to officially confirm yet, but they think it's possible. That said, this has been used in other vaccines before safely, and so it shouldn't be that big of an issue.
Now, experts say that there is about a 1 in a million chance of developing a blood clot from either of these vaccines. They also say that there's a far greater risk of actually dying from coronavirus if you were to contract it. But Isn't it reasonable for people to think or to fear that they might be the unlucky one to actually develop this potentially deadly side effect from either the J&J or Astra vaccine?
Well, let's be clear. First of all, in the US, it's 1 in a million. It's less than 1 in a million because 6 cases out of 6.8 million doses administered. That said, this is actually 10 times lower than what you see for AstraZeneca and the same clot in Germany, and also 4 times lower than what you see it in the UK. So we're still on different scales here. This Johnson & Johnson is very, very much lower than what we're talking about in AstraZeneca. So altogether, the risk-benefit ratio, someone calculated, compared to ICU prevention benefit, not just hospitalization, but ICU prevention benefit, it is surpasses anything, even among 30-year-olds. The AstraZeneca, they recommended for over 30, but this one is still well in the range of benefit because we have an active, large benefit in a major pandemic versus an unknown, extremely low risk. So I think the risk-benefit calculation is not even questionable here. It's definitely take the vaccine versus something that's not even for sure known yet.
Are you worried that the suspensions of both the AstraZeneca vaccine and the Johnson & Johnson one, that might actually cause more hesitancy among people concerning other vaccines, not just these 2 injections?
Yeah, so people, this is a well thought out question, and people ask this. So I would argue, what if we knew about it later and discovered it later, and while we're investigating, we didn't pause? I think the concerns over, let's just say you saw a shark fin in the water on the beach. We don't know, is it a real shark, fake shark, how many sharks, what kind of sharks? In certain ways, you first get people out of the water and investigate. And if we did not do that and discovered later that we knew that there was a shark, then in certain ways, the scandal and the lack of public trust is much worse. The public trust here is that we might be concerned, and let's pause, and because we're pausing out of abundance of caution, so that later on, if the risk is real, it is not that we're hiding it from the public. And I think this is the better thing. And people shouldn't be worried. It's just a few days, the FDA says, not for an extended period.
Okay, in the meantime, we'll see what authorities do decide regarding this J&J vaccine in the United States. Dr. Eric Feigl Ding, a pleasure as always. Thank you for that.